Shut your fucking pie holes. Shut the fuck up. That's right. I said shut the fuck up. Wise guys, eh? Wise guys. Let's see how wise you are when you're wearing concrete slippers at the bottom of the bay. You like seafood, bitches? You like seafood? Well, that's where you're gonna be, see? Without further ado, you bunch of lousy mental handicapped fucks. I give you the greatest man of all time, Erol. Shut the fuck up, you dirty fucking birds.
Females. Females.
You know who you are.
You bastards. Anyway, I always have good intentions at heart. All the great writers have said things about chicks. For example, Shakespeare wrote The Taming of the Shrew. Coincidence? Tolstoy said, how complete the illusion that beauty is goodness. He could have been talking about anybody. Aye, but he also said, I've never known a man to be able to love a woman and find time for anything else. So,
You could have been talking about any species.
the point is this. Rabbie Burns wrote that the lowest thing in life was the crouching vassal to the tyrant wife. Yeah. Dickens wrote a character called Miss Havisham, a monstrous, narcissistic maniac who hated men and refused to ever grow up and leave infancy or her house. And Dickens, just like all those great men, myself included, tried to stop females from passing that shit on to the next generation. It's ridiculous, isn't it? To pass the failures and mistakes of a past generation on to the next one. For example,
Big man's not being funny. I want my money back.
anyway, the feminism is actually fascism. Why else would you become the very thing you despised? Yeah, I mean, it's the opposite of whatever it is they were telling men they were guilty of. And what is the word? What is the word for the male equivalent of a feminist? What? A hominist? I don't know. There is no fucking word. What, a maleist? Malinism? What is the word? I know the word you're thinking, and that makes you a hypocrite. But the point is this. There is no such word. There is no word for whatever it is females are pretending to be the opposite of. But to go to the opposite extreme makes you the very thing you despise. Yeah, the balance is in between. I'm not listening to him anymore. We'll just switch off and watch Corrie. So, here's the thing. Some lassies might think I'm a misogynist. Couldn't care less. What are they going to do? Bite my ankle?
El Gonco, he lives and breathes again today.
No. For the uninitiated, that might have just seemed bollocks, you know?
El Gonco!
It's like an uncle whose nephews are now too old to make laugh anymore, yeah? They're about 14, 15. Their ambition's a can of cider and the internet when their mum's not around.
El Gonco!
Just doesn't cut it for them anymore. Not even if I invent El Gonco Land.
Welcome to El Gonco Land, where the crisps are free.
You know. A wank and a can of cider tops an uncle when you get to 14 or 15. Not for me. I had an uncle once give me 20 pence, he's dead now. And I'm still talking about it. Fucking over 30 years later. Is that how old she is? Good. Hope he dies or something in the night. I'm at the age now where you can die of something in the night. And nobody really bats an eyelid. If you were 10 and you died of something in the night, people would say, our prayers and wishes are with the as though that brings them back for the dead, you know. But if I die in the night, you know, it's just, oh well. You know, there's a couple of guys called David from my primary school class, the first, and they're dead. My Davids are gone, my Davids are gone. No, I'll not go through that again. It's just accepted. It's just a fact of life, mate. Move on. It's just a simple fact of life. Move on. Okay, for fuck's sake. My Davids are gone. Anyway, I said to this female the other day, is anyone still alive from your primary school class? She was a good age. She said no. They'd all been murdered brutally with knives. I couldn't believe her. Turns out it's true. Everyone in her class had all been murdered at different times with knives. You know, it would have been understandable if it had all been in the Wanner. You know, a big knife fight, you know. Alas, it was over an extended period, otherwise known as living in Scotland, home of the fucking rabbit hunt. You know who you are, silly wee boys. Anyway, inbred walking shite. So, where was I? Oh aye, chicks. Yeah. The problem is, of course, females have been encouraged to become man-haters. I don't think they needed a lot of encouragement, really. Where we made the big mistake was when we came home from the hunt and females had kindly painted their murals on the wall, which we know were painted by females because they're shite. Looks fuck all like a hunt. Yeah? It's like a fucking matchstick drawing someone who doesn't want to be anally raped would come up with. Doesn't matter, the bare skin's coming over and the dick's coming out. You know, monsters. But the thing is, those chicks would run away. Instead of letting them get eat by saber-toothed tigers, these egocentric males would run after these females and drag them back to the cave, thus ensuring that females who don't want anything to do with men pass on their genes. Hey ho, surprise-o, in the future we're surrounded by females who want nothing to do with males. In fact, this will surprise and horrify males. Every single female you know, without exception, fucking hates you. Hates you. What about... She fucking hates you. You. Just you. All of us though, every male drawing breath is hated by females. You ever get that look from a chick? I worked out what it is. It's rapist resentment. I'm the worst fucking rapist in the universe. Couldn't rape to save my life. After carrying out several sexual experiments on my behalf, several chicks have said to me, okay, it's my turn if you don't mind, would you mind? And I say, okay, what is it you want? And surprise, surprise, they want imaginary rape. They want to carry out some kind of pretend rape, right? And I think, okay, I'll give it a go. Yeah. But if you animated a 5-foot toast rack, right, and then put it on the back of a bucking bronco, how the fuck are you meant to keep your dick in that? Yeah. With a face screwed up like a small boy holding onto his plate piece in front of a bully. It's not attractive, looking like a small boy crossed with a toast rack and a bucking bronco. Oh, I don't know. On a cold night, I wouldn't kick it out of bed for farting. Probably wouldn't kick it out of bed for shitting, you cunt. And for those of you listening in Iceland, gobbledy-gobbledy-gook. They'll understand. It's another place I can't go now. You want to welcome anyway. How is it when you slag off a place whoever it is that hears you, no matter how singularly unimportant that cunt is, they immediately become the king of that country. You look away and there's the quickest coronation in recorded history. Yeah. If I say to somebody from England, no matter, they're leaning on a fence post with a burning straw hanging out their mouth, right? And I come up to them and say, England's shite, innit? Within a nanosecond, they say, get the fuck out of England then. We don't want your short round here. Right? Get the fuck out of England then. Who fucking died and made him King of England? He's still a fucking bumpkin with a length of straw hanging out of his mouth, who leans on a fence post most days going, "Help." That's it. Now he's fucking suddenly the King of England because I slagged the country off. It's just an extension of Scotland, really. We just need to claim it back. From the bastard English. You know who you are. You know you are. You know you're bastards. You know you're subhuman. You know you're walking shite. You know you're singularly without conscience or self-awareness. Unlike some Americans I've spoken to, at least some of them know that they're walking shite. Yeah? This girl said to me once, she said to me, I like it, I look as though I've been dragged through an edge backwards by my own dad. Anyway, she said to me that she went into a chip shop, as we call them over here, and the guy said, "Salt and sauce, hen." "Salt and vinegar, you cunt." And she said to him, "Oh, right, what kind of sauce do you have?" Expecting the guy might say back, you know, tartar sauce, you know, the Thousand Island dressing. He just went, "Red or brown, you cunt." In Scotland, you've only got red or brown. She said to me, "Red or brown what?" I'll not tell the police where I buried her. Suffice to say, it's a shallow grave. Saves a bit of digging when you go back. Always give you somewhere to pack you back. Wouldn't it be dreadful though, if you were a paranoid schizophrenic, went about murdering females? Why don't we just cut their balls off and set them free? 3/4 of beasts released from prison commit the exact same fucking crime again very, very, very soon after being released. They, I know the ones I mean, southern fucking English princes, want it to stay that way. They want you to be terrified for more reasons and sit in the fucking house so they can steal. All they need to do is lie to you and take advantage of the fact that you're probably quite thick and emotionally stunted. You'll never ever mature into being a real man, as I am, a real man. Ad nauseum. Do you know, when this eventually goes out on YouTube, right, there'll be all these wee hate-filled pricks, yeah, typing a load of shite about me with their extra thumbs on each paw. "Thanks, Pa, for these extra thumbs. All I needed to do was shag your mom. That's great news, Dad. Is that not what every couple do to produce a son? Nope. To produce them extra thumbs, your ma had to be in the third. 6 times over." Every 6th time you inbreed, you get an extra thumb. Every hun I've ever met in my life has an extra thumb. And webbed toes and feet. Yeah, which helped them to swim from Ireland when the Irish went, "Get the fuck out of here, you fucking inbred little pricks. You little stupid ginger bastards. You know, you dirty little ginger bastards." Anyway, there's nothing wrong being ginger. Look, I've got ginger in my sideburns. I've got ginger nuts in the fridge. Yeah, so you know you're on to a fucking swinging time if you come round my house. Compendium Referendum. The Italians, evil fucking bastards. Evil little rapists. They murdered Jesus. I said that to an Italian about 2 years ago, and he said to me, it was just such a revelation to him. He hadn't thought about it. He'd always imagined it was the Jews that murdered the Palestinian communist lumberjack PLC that I admire, like so many greats like Mother Teresa and so on. And he said, no, what's the coming to go, eh? You know, that he wasn't responsible, his people were not responsible for killing Jesus. And I said, it was Romans who nailed Jesus to a cross. Romans. Italians. Yeah. #1 rapists, marauding murderers who basically repopularised the concept of money and spread it far and wide to nations who would have been happier continuing to barter. The point is this. He said, no, this is not true. And I said, that's no I heard. I heard the Italians at the chip shop at the cross. Only works in Scotland, that joke. Doesn't travel very well. Unlike raping Italian bastards. Return to the tiny little boot they started from. All they've got now is tourism and crumbling relics. Good. That's what England will soon be returned to. That's why you've got all these bloody wars. War equals dead children. You're not funny, mate. Get to fuck. The thing is that, yeah, it's the last death throes of a bygone empire. The British Empire, reduced to sunbathing in Magdaluf, like a bunch of red jobbies that have floated ashore from some passing tour ship, you know, where all these blue-rinsed old grannies are imprisoned. I wish I hadn't started. Yes, so females have been encouraged by monsters of all kinds to leave the house, even though females shouldn't be allowed out. Come on, let's face it. Come on, they shouldn't be allowed out. It's absolutely ridiculous to let a lassie out. She relies on luck and strictures that we've had to legally put in place so she doesn't die. Think about it. If it wasn't for those strictures, those well-laid Roman roads, and, you know, luck, random luck, females would be... we'd just be finding them in bits everywhere, really. A female, even though she knows she has a vagina and has a very small likelihood of making it home intact, if she goes home alone on a dark night, she'll still be found raped with her arse in tatters up some alley somewhere. Because she's that fucking stupid. Yeah? Think about it. You've no cotton balls, no muscles, and you're about 5 foot tall. And you think, oh, I think the way I'll go home is down that dark alley where people have been murdered in the past. No man will fucking stop me. No, until there's blood spurting out your arse like a fucking fountain. Your pants up a nearby tree. Some monster whom the powers that be are happy to fucking have roaming the earth, committing offence after offence after offence against innocent people like